Welcome to the lecture series on electronic devices. In previous lecture, we have studied about the in-depth knowledge about PN junction formation and how the depletion region is formed, followed by Fermi energy level and qualitative current flow through the PN junction. We have seen so many different concepts, very important concepts in the previous class. In today's lecture, we will be studying about forward and reverse biased junctions and reverse bias breakdown if possible. We will cover Zener breakdown also. So coming to today's first slide, PN junction in forward bias. So in the previous lecture, I had not applied any bias, right? I had not applied any voltage. So here you are seeing I am supplying some positive voltage here. So before I go with the forward bias, let me give some glimpse about what is biasing. So if somebody asks you, how do you define biasing or what is biasing? The answer for that biasing is uh, providing sufficient voltages and currents in the circuit so that the circuit functions properly. Okay. Again, for better understanding, let me give you an analogy of our day-to-day life. We have our tiffin, we have our food, right? That is biasing. How much hungry we feel, that much amount of food we have, right? That is biasing. Why we have food? So that we can work properly. In the same way, providing food to the circuit, I mean providing sufficient voltage and current to the circuit so that the circuit functions properly, it is called as biasing. Okay. And in biasing we have two types. The one is forward biased and the other is reverse biased. We'll come to know what is forward biased and reverse biased. So if I take an example of PN junction, right? Forward bias, generally what we say, if a positive voltage is given to the anode terminal of the diode, then we call it as forward biased. And if a negative terminal, if it is given to the cathode, then it is called as reverse biased. Correct? So anode is represented by A, cathode is represented by K. It is not C, it is K. No doubt the spelling is CATHODE, but it is represented by the letter K. Right? So if we reverse this polarity, if I give minus here and plus at this point, then we say that the diode is, or the PN junction is reverse biased. Right? So here we are seeing if a constant DC, okay, we know what is DC. DC is direct current. If a constant DC voltage is applied over the diode, the polarity is higher on the P side and the diode is said to be in forward biased. And in forward biased diode, we see that diode has exponential relationship between current and voltage. So the graph which you are seeing here, this graph, it is showing an exponential relationship between the current. Where is the current? Current is plotted on in the y-axis and the voltage, it is plotted in the x-axis, right? So what this graph is telling us, when I start giving the voltage, say initially at origin the voltage is 0, the current is also 0. If I start giving the voltage, a positive voltage, right, or in forward bias, if I start increasing the voltage, then slowly the current will increase. How it will increase? It will increase exponentially. Hence the graph is exponential in nature. Even the diode equation also satisfies the same thing. it is giving exponential mathematical behavior. So here in the graph we are seeing that as voltage is increasing, the current is increasing exponentially, right? So basically we have studied in previous semesters also. Here the minimum voltage required to turn on the diode, we call it as something threshold voltage, or VT, right? Or it has many other different names also, right? After the VT, the current is increasing very rapidly, right? The current is increasing very rapidly. And let me go somewhat out of the syllabus and ask you, say if this PN junction is made up of silicon, or we say that this is a silicon diode, and we know that the threshold voltage for silicon diode, you can assume it to be 0.7 volts, right? It is 0.7 volts. Now my question is, where will be the current if I give the voltage say 1 volt? Now at 0.7 it is here, right? And the current is say corresponding to this part, right? And if I give 1 volt to the diode, then where will be the current? So let me answer the question. This graph, it is going almost straight, right? And say if 1 volt it is coming at this point, then we can imagine that the line has already reached the infinity. The line has already reached the infinity when it is coming in line with this 1 volt, right? It is like this. It is like running, they are running parallel, right? So this exponential rise in current, it is near 0.7 itself. So the range between this point and this point, this current and this current, okay, so the difference in voltage is very less. As soon as it reaches 0.7, the current increases rapidly. And this is about the reverse biased condition. Yes, we know that in reverse bias condition, the diode doesn't conduct any current, but still we are finding some gap between 0 and this line, right? This line, we are getting some gap. Yes, that gap is due to the current flow due to minority charge carriers. So minority charge carriers, they are responsible for current flow. So this was about a brief explanation about exponential relationship. Again in future we will be discussing these kinds of concepts. So moving further, why we need to look at the action of majority and minority carriers. See, this current, it is due to majority carriers, and this current in reverse direction, it is due to minority carriers. Hence it is also called as a minority current, or it is also called as reverse saturation current. Okay, why? Because reverse saturation current, because it is present in reverse bias condition. And why saturation current? Because it is saturated, right? It is not changing, it is not increasing. After it attains this, it will be constant, right? So it is called as reverse saturation current. So because of majority and minority carriers, yeah. Yeah, we'll discuss it. I guess in the end of the lecture, I will be covering that breakdown. Yes, so that breakdown indicates about the excess current only. Okay. Yeah. So the current is due to majority and minority carriers. Current in forward bias is due to majority carriers, and current in reverse bias is due to minority carriers. This point is very clear. Next, the exponential relationship between current and voltages is very useful Yes, it is very useful. Actually, it has a number of applications. Few of them are rectifiers. You might have studied rectifiers, half wave rectifier, full wave rectifier, logic gates, and few things we'll be studying in this semester, like clippers, clampers, and various applications of diodes. So, the what is the main reason, or what is the basic concept of so many applications of diode is its exponential behavior. The current, it is rising exponentially. So moving further, the energy band interpretation. So we know that we have something called as conduction band, and we have something called as valence band, right? And first, before taking the forward bias condition, let me take equilibrium. And yesterday we have discussed about how this is formed. We had some rules, right? And one of the main rule was that this Fermi energy level, it should not be bended, neither it should be discontinued, it should be always a continuous straight line, right? So from that concept I have directly taken this. In equilibrium we will be having this, right? And now if we apply a forward bias to the diode, what change will happen in the energy bands? What change will happen? That we are going to see now. So in forward bias, Fermi energy level in the two regions are separated by an electron volt, right? That is energy gap equal to the applied potential Vf. That means here we are seeing whenever a potential is applied, a forward potential is applied, right? We are seeing something is written here. It is V naught minus Vf, right? Or what we can see here, see the distance between these 2 points. Or I'll make it very simple. If you observe the bend here in forward biased condition, and you observe the bend in equilibrium, what is our observation? Our observation is saying that here it is not that much bended in forward biased, and here in equilibrium comparatively we are having a steeper bend, right? That is due to the application of this voltage itself. In equilibrium we are not applying any voltage, right? So that is the ideal condition. Now whenever I apply the voltage, what is happening? Actually what happens if I apply the voltage? The holes, right, this is positive and this is negative. Yes, then it is called as forward bias. And when this is positive, positive potential is applied at the p type. In p type we have a number of holes, right? So this positive potential, it will just try to repel all the holes. So these holes, they will be moving towards the n-type material. Similarly, this negative potential will try to repel the electrons. So electrons will try to move in this direction, right? So what we are seeing here is the current is flowing in forward bias condition, right? And when we say that the current is flowing in forward bias condition, how actually that is possible? Current is flowing means the holes, they will be traveling from this region to this region, and the electrons, they will be traveling from this region to this region, and it is becoming very easy. Why? Because the slope has been reduced. Why the slope has been reduced? Because of this applied potential. Okay, so that the difference q into v, that is the difference earlier. Now the difference is becoming q into v naught minus vf. Earlier it was q into v naught. You can see here q into v naught, but now here we are getting a new equation, that is q into v naught. So let me erase everything so that it will be very clear to you people. Yeah, this is the equation, and the effect of Vf is felt whenever we supply the Vf, that effect of Vf is felt, and here we have a more gap because there is no any applied potential. Why the gap is reducing? Because this applied potential is helping in conduction, right? And that help in conduction, or basically what I can say is, because the gap has reduced, there is conduction. Okay, and why the gap has reduced? Because of this potential only the gap has reduced. So V naught minus Vf, it will be a lesser quantity compared to only V naught, right? So this gap, it has been reduced so that the charge carriers, they can easily move. The electrons, they'll move in this direction, and the hole will start moving in this direction, right? As a result, applying Vf reduces the energy potential. That is what we have seen here between the P and N sides. So here you can visualize the actual electrons and holes. So these are the holes on P side. These are the electrons on N side, right? Whenever we apply the potential, we get the effect of potential in this difference of gap, right? So as soon as the gap is reduced, here the gap is more, right? So as soon as the gap is reduced, the electrons, they will travel from N side to the P side, and holes, they will travel easily from P side to N side. Why easily? Because the gap has reduced. Or in other words, how can we interpret this is, what is this actually gap? What is the slope actually? The slope is nothing but depletion region. Yesterday we have seen it. Yes. If the slope is too high, then we can say the depletion region is too wider. If the slope is too small, yes, then we say that the depletion region, it is thinner. And we already know that forward biased condition will, the depletion region will become thinner and thinner. Yes, it will become thinner and thinner. As we increase the voltage, again the depletion region will become thinner and thinner. Whereas in reverse bias condition, it is the other case. It will become more wider and more wider. So we will cover that reverse bias condition also. I hope this is very clear. So that we are seeing again, in equilibrium the gap is more, in forward bias the gap is reduced. Hence, what we are seeing? We are seeing the different movements. Diffusion and drift are both present now. Why diffusion is present? Why? Because P side has more number of holes and N side has more number of electrons. So holes are more on one side, electrons are more on the other side. They will try to just move to their opposite sides. Why? Because there exists concentration gradient difference. And what about drift current? We have supplied some potential. Even because of that, we will find a drift current, right? Now diffusion becomes more prevalent than the drift, and the difference results in a net current from P to N. So in equilibrium we have seen that drift current and diffusion current, they are equal in uh, magnitude and opposite in direction. Hence the net current was zero in equilibrium, that is no voltage applied, and in equilibrium the net current was zero. But now we have applied the voltage, and we are seeing that the diffusion current is becoming more prevalent than the drift current. Hence we are getting some total net current from uh, P to N. So what these current directions are indicating, actually these are indicating the drift current and the diffusion current, and one is for the P type material, the other is for the N type material. So here you can see the size of the arrow mark, they are same. right? Here also the size of the arrow mark they are same. It indicates that they are equal and opposite in direction, correct? But now here the size of the arrow mark they are not same. That is what indicated here. The diffusion current, it is becoming more prevalent than the drift current. Now coming to reverse bias energy band interpretation. In reverse bias energy band interpretation, we are seeing that the difference is again increasing. It is more compared to equilibrium. In forward bias, we have seen that the difference is less compared to equilibrium. Here, the difference is more compared to equilibrium. Why? Again, you can see here the depletion region has widened. Why it has widened? Because this potential is creating such condition, and this voltage, it is getting added to this energy gap. You can see here in forward bias we had Q into V naught minus Vf. Vf means it is forward voltage applied. Here I am representing the voltage by Vr. In previous slide we had Vf, right? So it was Q into V naught minus Vf. That is V naught minus Vf means it was reducing. Here we have V naught plus Vr. Why? Because the depletion width is increasing and the current flow, it is becoming more and more tedious, more and more difficult. Hence that is represented by this increase in the energy gap or energy gap, right? So here the electrons they are present at this point. It becomes more difficult to climb the higher slope and again move here at this direction, right, towards P. Similarly the holes also, right? So I have represented in opposite direction. So electrons they are present here, they will be moving in this direction. So because the gap is too much, they will not prefer moving on the other side, right? From this we can understand that way. And here what we can understand, the depletion region consisting of immobile ions, it has increased and the barrier it has become more stronger. Hence the current has been opposed, current is not allowed. The same thing we can interpret using the band diagram in this way. The gap has been increased, right? It is because of V naught plus Vr. Hence there is difficulty in movement of charge carriers from P side to the N side or N side to the P side. That is for both holes and electrons. So what is written? Reverse bias means the applied voltage is higher on the N side and lower on the P side. That means lower in the sense negative on P side and positive on the N side. Applying a reverse bias increases the energy potential barrier, or in other words the depletion region itself, between P and N sides, right? And the diffusion, it will become more and more tougher, right? The holes and electrons, they can't cross the barrier. That's it. So next one, yeah, you can visualize the movements also. Yes, this is in equilibrium, and as I said, the gap has been increased, right? So the holes, they need to climb up the slope. Yes, the slope is higher. So in this interpretation we can understand, because the slope is increased or the depletion width is more, it is finding difficult to move a larger distance. Yes, and large potential difference results in drift of minority carriers. That we'll see in coming slides. So the increased barrier height causes some minority electrons in the P region to drift to the N region, and similarly holes in the opposite direction. Here we can try to visualize This is physical model of PN junction. So what we are seeing actually, we are seeing here we are seeing carrier concentration, that too at forward bias and reverse bias both we will see. Minority electrons on p side. Yes, on p side we know my electrons are the minority carriers, and how it will behave actually. Yes, so let me talk about the forward bias first. In forward bias condition, what is happening? In forward bias condition, what is happening? We are seeing that the holes, they will try to move towards the N type material, and electrons from N type material, they will try to move towards the P type material. Correct? So in forward bias condition, when these are already moving, what we can visualize, see, the hole from P type has moved to the N type. So count of holes in N type, it is increasing. Why? Because this movement is allowed. Why it is allowed? Because it is forward biased. Correct. So holes in the N type material is increasing. Holes in the N type material, it is increasing. Similarly, the electrons, they are coming from N type to P type. That means the count of electrons is increasing in the P type. Or in other words, I can say that the minority electrons, why minority electrons? The electrons are minority carriers in P type, and the holes are minority carriers in the N type. So these are increasing. You can see the graph, right? So here, if I take this as 0, yes, this as the origin, then we can say that because of this transition, my graph is somewhat above 0. My graph is somewhat above 0. And what about, see, it has stopped here, right? We are having a level at this point and at this point. If we want to increase this level, say if I need the graph in this way, like this, or if I need the graph in this way, like this, right, starting from at this point, then how it can be achieved? Actually, what is this? It is the number of minority carriers on P side and on N side. How it will be attained? How minority carriers can be increased on the P side, and how minority holes can be increased on the N side? If I increase the forward bias voltage, say initially if I had given only 1 volt, and if I increase the voltage to 2 volts, what will happen? If the 2 volts, more voltage is applied, more number of holes will move to the other side, and more number of electrons will move to the other side. That means I am increasing the minority carriers in the PN junction. Yes, if I again increase the voltage, say 3 volts, again few more holes will be coming here, right? Comparatively larger number of carriers will be moving. So this level depends on the voltage applied. Say if I increase 5 volts, I may reach up to this point. If I just apply only say 0.8 volts, then it may come at this point. So I may get the graph in this way. Yes, if I apply 0.8 volts, I may get the graph in this way, right? So this graph, it is showing the carrier concentration, that too especially minority carrier concentrations on both the sides, P side and N side. Yes, in what condition? Oh, I have taken only the forward bias condition, I have not touched the reverse bias condition. What will happen if we go with the reverse bias condition? Here you can see the green color graph, it is corresponding to reverse bias condition, and the red color graph, it is corresponding to the forward bias condition. So here we are seeing forward bias, we have understood, right? If we increase the voltage, I may get the graph again up to the higher level, yes, or the minority carriers, they will be increasing due to continued diffusion. Yes. And what about reverse biased condition? So you forget about this red color part, we have already studied it. Now concentrating on only the green color part, right? Now if I apply the reverse bias, what thing will happen? The current flowing from P to N and the current flowing from N to P, or I mean the carriers flowing from P to N and the carriers flowing from N to P, that is holes and electrons, they will stop flowing. Yes, they will stop their movements. Why? Because here I have applied what? A negative potential. Here I have applied a positive potential. Correct? So these holes which are present in the P-type material, they will not move to the other side. Why they will not move to the other side? Because they are already attracted by the negative potential here. Earlier, why was the movement? Because here I had positive potential and that positive potential was repelling the holes. But now I don't have the positive potential, I have the negative potential. So all the holes, they will be attracted towards the negative potential. Similarly, all the electrons will be attracted towards the positive potential, and even the depletion region, depletion width, it will also go on increasing. Hence, what about the minority electrons and minority holes on the both the sides, right? So if I take the example of forward bias, you can say forward biased condition, what had happened, the holes from P side had moved to the N side and electrons from N side, they had moved to the P side. Suddenly if I make it reverse bias, what will happen? The electrons which are already present here, the electrons which are already present in the P side, they have already come, right? And the holes, they are already come on the N side. Now if I just reverse the polarity, this positive potential of reverse bias, it will try to repel the hole. So hole should again try to come back to its original position, right? The hole will be repelled by the reverse bias potential. In the same way, electrons which are present here in the p-type material, which have already come from n-type material, they will be again repelled by this negative potential. So again they will try to escape from the p side. Ultimately, what conclusion we are getting is, whenever reverse bias potential is applied, the minority carriers, they just move away in the sense they try to decrease. Yes, see, I am applying negative potential and no electrons will try to remain at this p side. They will this negative will try to repel, right? So electrons, no electrons are they are trying to escape, no electrons are trying to remain in the p side. That means what? No minority carriers are trying to remain in the p side. Why? Because electrons are minority carriers. That itself we are showing it in the graph. So towards p side, electrons count is decreasing as the reverse bias voltage is applied. Similarly, the number of minority holes on the N side, it will try to decrease as we apply the reverse bias. It is due to the repulsion. Yes. And now we had said about reverse bias, reverse saturation current, right? So that reverse saturation current itself is nothing but called as escaping of the minority carriers. So reverse saturation current results only due to the flow of minority carriers, not majority carriers. Forward current, it is the resultant of majority carriers. Reverse saturation current, it is the resultant of minority carriers. but minority carriers are very less in number, hence they are called as minority actually. Yes, hence the current caused due to minority carriers is also very less, that we have already seen in the diode characteristic graph. Yes, the reverse, here we had a very little current. Yes, almost near to zero only, almost near to zero, but it was some negligible current. So I hope this graph is very clear. This is about forward biased and this is about the reverse bias. What is increasing in forward bias? Minority carriers are increasing in forward biased. Minority carriers, they are decreasing in the reverse biased. The equations, they are also indicating the same theory which I have explained just now. Yes, so moving further. So the equations that I have covered, okay, as a result of applying a negative voltage, yes, I am speaking of reverse bias again, we see that minority carrier concentrations decrease near the depletion region. They try to escape, right? They try to escape. That's it. So even this graph is similar to the graph which we have seen in the previous slide, based on the actually based on the same concept. And we are seeing some exponential equation here, right? That exponential equation, actually what is that, delta Pn? What is this P of xn? It is nothing but number of minority carriers. Yes, here also it is number of minority carriers. So delta Pn is something called as a part of that. Yes, and it is almost equal to negative Pn. Yes, it is in the reverse biased condition. The concept I have explained you in the previous slide. Again, moving further. Now coming to the reverse bias breakdown. So someone had asked the question about what about maximum current flows. Yes, if the maximum current flows through the device, what will happen? So that condition is called as actually breakdown. So let us cover it now. If a reverse bias voltage is applied, correct, reverse breakdown can occur. It depends. Okay, it may occur or it may not occur. It totally depends on how much reverse voltage you are applying, and also it depends upon what capacity the device is having. Say if I have a diode, yes, and if the, for example, if the reverse current which can be handled by the diode, okay, or the reverse voltage which can be handled by the diode, if it is more, okay, so all these things, how much reverse current this diode can handle, how much reverse voltage this diode can handle, how much maximum temperature on which the diode can function properly, or minimum temperature on which the diode can function properly, all these things are given in the data sheet. So data sheet is the thing given by the manufacturer of that device, right? Which company, say XYZ company is manufacturing a diode, so that XYZ company will give the details about the device. Like we usually we get, if we purchase a mobile, we will get some user manual, right? In the same way, if we just buy any device, a diode or a transistor, anything, yes, along with that a data sheet comes, and that data sheet gives us the worst case conditions, the best case conditions, each and everything is present in the data sheet, right? So I was saying about breakdown, right? If the capacity of diode, if it is say to handle 30 volts, right? For example, if it is having a capacity of handling, or in other words, what can I say is, if you apply up to 30 volts, the diode will not get damaged, right? Now, if we increase that limit, then we can say that the breakdown may happen. Okay, so in breakdown, diode current increases rapidly as shown in the graph. Where it is shown in the graph? This part, right? So here what we are seeing, it is increasing exponentially, right? It is increasing exponentially, but here it is not decreasing exponentially. Actually, it is directly falling, right? It is directly falling down, right? So at this potential, at this voltage, please note that I am speaking of reverse bias only, because breakdown happens only in the reverse bias, right? So whatever breakdown happens in the reverse bias, actually that term is named as breakdown. So whenever this limit, say it is here it is written VBT, okay, so, or VBR, I guess VBR. So this VBR is reverse breakdown voltage. Reverse breakdown voltage. If we supply more potential greater than VBR in reverse bias condition, then definitely the breakdown will happen. And breakdown can happen in two different ways. The one is called as Zener breakdown, and the other is called as avalanche breakdown. What happens in Zener breakdown? Zener breakdown can occur when there is a high reverse bias, means the voltage given is high and the junction is heavily doped. Now, what is that junction? Junction, say if I take the example of again P and N, yes, and if this PN junction, or if this PN diode, okay, if it is heavily doped, what do you mean by heavily doped? More impurities are present in it, right? So one very basic concept I would like to make it clear. If the, okay, I'll take two cases. I have two diodes, right? I have two diodes, diode number 1 and diode number 2. In diode number 1, if the doping is lighter, so the first diode is lightly doped, the second diode is heavily doped, right? And without any uh, biasing, that is no applied voltage, in that condition, the lightly doped diode, it will have the depletion width somewhat wider compared to the second case. Why? Because the depletion region actually depends on the doping level also. So let me make it more simpler. If the doping is high, the depletion width is less. Very clear. If the doping is low, the depletion width is more. Okay. So now returning back here, the electron, okay, we are here. The Zener breakdown can occur when there is high reverse bias voltage and the junction is heavily doped. The first condition. Yes. In this case, what will happen actually? An electron from the valence band. Now I have to visualize. Okay, so energy band, you can directly come to this energy band interpretation. Here we are seeing the gap has increased. Why the gap has increased? Gap has increased because I am in reverse bias condition, correct? And this gap, it has increased in such a way that this is actually conduction band, this is valence band, right? The conduction band, it has come nearer to the valence band, or you can say it is like overlapped only, right? It is like overlapped only. The level of valence band is at this level and the level of conduction band is at this level. This is P side, this is N side. You need to remember this. So this is P side, N side. The P side valence band level, energy level, it is like overlapping with the n side conduction band level, right? In such case, what may happen? Let us see. Electron from the valence band can tunnel. Now, what is tunnel? Tunnel is nothing but, you can, in very simple words, you can say the movement, right? The movement from one part to the other part. I'll explain it here. Let me first erase those things. So in the blue color, you are able to see some movements. So this movement actually. So electrons from valence band can tunnel to the conduction band. This is valence band, as I have said. This is valence band. This is conduction band. Yes, this is valence band. See, this is conduction band. This is valence band. Again, this is valence band. This is conduction band. The thing is, they have just bend, right? They have some bend. So conduction band in the n side, it is very near to the valence band in the p side. So what is happening? This movement you can visualize. The electron, it is just traveling from valence band to the conduction band. Though why it is traveling in this way? Because the energy level it is matching, right? The energy level it is matching, and this type of movement of the electron, it is called as tunneling, right? So the electron can tunnel from valence band to the conduction band on the n side. From p side it is moving towards n side. From valence band it is moving towards conduction band, right? Tunneling can only occur in the VEP and EVP, ECN cross each other. That means what these people, what here it is written is, energy of valence band and energy of conduction band that we are seeing at this point, they cross each other, or in other words, they are like overlapping at this point, right? So at this point, they are overlapping. And width of the depletion region is very small. Why the width of the depletion region it is very small? I have said you, more the doping, less the depletion region, right? So the condition here is, it is saying, what is the very first condition? The very first condition is reverse biased, correct? And what is the very second condition? Heavily doped junction. When heavily doped junction comes, we know that the width of the depletion region is less. Yes, so both the conditions are very important or very necessary. The depletion width should be less, and we should have a high reverse bias. High reverse bias, what happens due to high reverse bias? Overlapping will happen. And what happens due to heavily doped junction? The width, depletion width will be less, right? Or this distance is less. So this electron from this side can directly jump to this side, and this process is called as tunneling. Yes. So what has happened actually? We are listening, we are seeing all these things. What has happened? Ultimately, the electron, it has jumped from valence band to the conduction band. Correct? Electron, it has jumped from valence band to the conduction band. What is conduction band? What will be electron in conduction band? It will be very free to move. Yes. Hence, if most of the electrons, if they jump from valence band to the conduction band, then we can say that most of the electrons are liberated. Why? Because electrons are free in the conduction band. So due to this tunneling, most of the electrons, they are liberated. So Zener breakdown typically occurs in heavily doped junctions at a few volts of reverse bias. So what is physical interpretation? With a high doping and large reverse bias, both the conditions should be satisfied. As I said, high electric field in the depletion region exists. Why high electric field? Due to reverse bias and high doping. Both the regions causes the high electric field in depletion region, and if the field is increased up to this value 10 raised to 6 volts per centimeter by adding reverse bias, electrons participating in covalent bonds can be torn away. Okay, so we know what is covalent bond, sharing of electrons. If this high electric field comes into picture, this bond will be broken and electrons will be made free. Yes, most of the bonds will be broken and all the electrons will be made free. Made free in the sense they will tunnel through. Tunnel through means it will come from valence band to the conduction band where they are free. Yes, and when this thing is happening, they become mobile. Why? Because they are free, and hence we have seen the current direction, right? The nature of current is steeply decreasing in Zener breakdown. Why it is steeply decreasing, or why it is steeply falling down? Why? Because most of the electrons, they are tunneling and moving freely, right? They are into the conduction band. So if this energy, if this electric field is achieved, all the covalent bonds, most of the covalent bonds, they will be broken, the electrons will be free, and because most of the electrons are free, it causes more current. So here we are seeing the current is sharply increasing in the reverse direction. This is reverse direction, is sharply increasing. Yes, and this Zener breakdown we can use it actually. Actually, what is happening here? We are seeing that something unusual is happening, which we don't like actually. Most of the electrons, they are free and current is increasing so rapidly. Yes, but we can use this Zener breakdown. I'll explain it in the next class about that, right? So again we need to remember few things, and we have understood most of the very basic concepts. So we are at level 2 in Bloom's level taxonomy, and thank you very much for your patience hearing.